Good afternoon. This is the second series, or second episode of my series of Inferno in the Divine Comedy. Last episode, I talked about more of a brief summary of who Dante was, what he did, his political views, mainly his political views, and how long it took him to write the book. Now, I'm actually going to talk about the Inferno. Inferno is not a fun book. But the fun fact is about Inferno is that colleges and high schools would honestly only read Inferno because it's the only book that people have an interest in. For whatever reason, they're interested in Inferno more than Purgatorio and Paradiso. You'll probably find out why if you keep watching my videos. So, let's start with this, Inferno. The very first chapter, after the epilogue, Dante is... Actually, let me do this. Let's go back in the epilogue. Epilogue. What happens to Dante is he wakes up in a wood. A dark wood. A very, very dark wood. The wood is so dark that he thinks that he won't be able to see. But he does see. And he calls it an image of death. It's so dark and so dead, basically. So dead, he just calls it death. It's like an image of death. He's in this forest. And, as I've said before, he starts climbing the hill, meets the three beasts. And this is what Dante says about the three beasts. He says, "And lo, almost at the beginning of the rise, I faced a spotted leopard, all tremor and flow. A gaudy pelt, it would not pass, but stood so blocking my every turn that time and again I was on the verge of turning back to the wood." So he just met this leopard that does scare him because it's a leopard. What are you going to do with a leopard? Leopards are scary. They're also can be very dangerous when hungry, and possibly more dangerous when they're not hungry, when they want to play around with you before you die. So he meets this leopard. And then he somehow makes his way past the leopard. He gets past the leopard. And he meets this lion. The lion is like... The way he describes this lion is, he says, raging with hunger, its enormous head held high as if to strike terror into the very air. When you think of a lion, you think of pride, not just the term of a pack of lions, but you can also think of it as pride. Also, since Dante's a Catholic here, Christ is also referred to as a lion, but he's more of a humble lion. He's not a prideful lion. And this lion that Dante meets is pride. It's basically pride in a form of an animal, and Dante decided, might as well be a lion because, lions are prideful. Or they seem prideful anyway. Then the character goes ahead and, he finds out there's a third beast. And down his track, a she-wolf drove upon me, a starved horror, ravening and wasted beyond all belief. She seemed a rack for avarice, gaunt and craving, while many the souls she has brought to endless grief. The she-wolf, it depends what translation. My translation is from John Ciardi. because it was written in Italian. So it depends what translation. Sometimes translators will say, oh, he met the lion first, then the leopard, then the she-wolf. John Ciardi, though, he says leopard, lion, she-wolf. The she-wolf represents fraud and can also mean certain other sins. The leopard, I don't really remember what the leopard means. But the leopard does mean, for one of the sins it does mean, is more of the beginning sins, like gluttony and lust and whatnot. The she-wolf is fraud, forgery, grafting, power, basically. Not so much pride, because the lion is supposed to represent the pride. So Dante sees all these beasts. Then he runs away. So he goes past the leopard, he gets past the lion, because he's not afflicted by the sins of the leopard nor the sins of the lion, but he is affected by the sins of the she-wolf. That will become more evident in future chapters. He comes back, and he's in a state of despair, because now he's back where he was. He's down the hill. He can't get up the hill anymore. He's in a state of despair. He suddenly comes up, and he finds himself in the presence of Virgil. He doesn't know it's Virgil to begin with. He asks Virgil, he said, "Have pity on me, whatever thing you are." And